What is up, Rad Potential YouTube? I'm Mr. Rad, and in today's video, you're gonna see the most amount of work I have ever done to a vehicle in one video. This is the entire restoration of a 1979 RX-7, just like this one, but not this one. This one's green, as you saw by the thumbnail. In one video, everything. Put the whole car back together, paint, the whole deal. You're gonna see it, and at the end, you're gonna see the owner's reaction to probably one of the most interesting paint colors that I've ever sprayed on a first generation RX-7, and I've painted, I think, 4 of these up to now. So with that, let's jump right into the video. This is truly a special car, not because of any sort of actual performance bit or the color, but because this car means so much to the people who own it, and this car has been responsible for connecting and creating so many great friendships. It's truly a privilege to be able to restore this car. Let's get right to it. In the previous video, I brought this car up to the shop and showed you guys the existing condition. You can see cobwebs, white paint flaking off, dirty engine bay, but this car is full of great parts. It's really not that rusty, a couple rust spots in the floor, some banged up dents here and there that we found, but ultimately completely worthy of this restoration. So, rotisserie restoration in the last video. It's where we're picking up in this video is the bottom of the car, the engine bay, everything is beautiful, looking fantastic, ready for parts to get bolted on. Now, this car's journey is just restarting at this point, and this car ultimately was built about 15 years ago. This was it as Charles and Melinda, so father and daughter, bought this car from New Jersey on eBay, brought it back to Tennessee, and started restoring this thing in their driveway. And one of the coolest parts about just the car scene back in the day before social media is this car working on a project, all your friends, buddies, especially as a father and daughter team, being able to build a car together. This was such a great medium to bring people together. And you can see, we got some people standing around drinking some brews, other people painting here in shorts and athletic shoes. But ultimately, the fellowship, the people that are together because of this car is just truly amazing, aside from the quality of the work that was done, which for having a garage driveway restoration, this car looked fantastic for many years, and ultimately such just a good starting point for what we're about to do. So I got to work pulling the engine apart and cleaning things up. This is not a engine rebuild or a turbo upgrade or even a drivetrain upgrade. I'm keeping the drivetrain as it was. We're doing an aesthetic restoration in this video, but we want the engine to look nice. We can't bolt dirty, crummy parts back in this thing. So not just a regular body shop around here, but a good pressure wash job, a good clean, fresh oil pan gasket, fresh rear main seal, fresh front main seal, water pump gasket, good old used clutch and flywheel going back on this thing. And at this point, my goal is to make the car a roller and consolidate all of the parts that are currently sitting around in my shop. One of the things this car does have that really was ahead of its time back in the day is an FC RX7 subframe swap in the front. So that converts this to rack and pinion steering and ultimately lets us bolt that Turbo 2 engine from an FC RX7 into the car with minimal effort. So there's some alignment issues which we're going to address here in a second, but I got this cleaned up. I got the subframe going back in it. We're ready to almost roll this thing to the body shop. I'm working on this front subframe up here, and one of the major issues that this car had with the FC front subframe swap was its lack of caster. So if you don't know what caster is and you're new to all of this sort of like suspension geometry and alignment things, especially with the RX-8 subframe swapped FD stuff going on, let me teach you just a little bit. Trust me, you'll be able to understand this, okay? So when you look at your front wheel, okay, the caster, camber, toe, all of those things play a big role in how your car handles. So what does each one of those things mean? Toe is where the wheel points relative to the other side. So toe in would mean that your front wheels, both of them point across the car, like together. Toe out would mean that the front wheels point outward. So the one wheel points across the outside of the road, the other one points the other side of the road, right? They're like toed out. Camber slammed enough, gang, is the tip of the wheel towards the body. So this is your camber. You know, lower your car, camber the wheels in, it fits the fender, right? Arguably, the most important of these three things is caster. Caster is the angle at which, for a McPherson strut, the strut is tipped forward or backward. On a double A-arm car, like an RX-8, the caster is the angle, if you drew a straight line from this ball joint to the bottom ball joint, caster is the angle of those ball joints, okay? What caster does is this. So imagine you have zero caster. The wheel is just straight up and down. Effectively, that's just like having a single axle, regular straight axle car. When you drive, it's just going to pivot along the center of the tire, right? Like you could spin the tire around an indefinite amount of times and it would never put any force into it because you're balancing it perfectly. If you take that same axis, the caster axis, okay, and you tip it backwards, and now you're driving this way and you have the caster tipped backwards, so the bottom of the wheel, the bottom of your A-arm is forward, okay? That's what's called positive caster. That's typically what all cars have. If you have negative caster, something's way weird. But the reason you put that caster in, okay, look at my hands, the caster goes like this. Now imagine you're gonna turn that wheel, okay? Just like the earth is off axis, your wheel's now off axis. So when you turn it, it's gonna induce a force that's going to try to drive that wheel back to straight. Okay, it's when you steer in and you see all the drift homies, they're like, wah, 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 and they let go, and then the wheel goes back the other way. The caster is what induces a lot of that self-center. It's what keeps the car driving down the center of the road, like the steering wheel centered. Also, if you have like, you know, some toe out plus some caster, there's a lot of different variables that can also change that in Ackerman, which we're not even going to talk about. But this car, effectively, if you drove it into a corner, knowing all of those things, you took it into a corner, you turned, and you let go of the steering wheel, it stayed turned. It did not go back to the center, okay? It just was like, we're going in the ditch. You had to turn it back straight, and that's not ideal. With the FC subframe in the location it was in, and the wheel in the center of the wheel arch, using that shock tower, the OEM first-gen shock tower, the car had almost no caster. So what I'm doing is I'm increasing the caster. So I went ahead and I slotted the subframe holes so I could slide the subframe forward. Unfortunately, on an FC RX7, there is no caster adjustment unless you just adjust the actual strut top hat, like if you had a camber plate, which is this, but in a caster plate, right? Like you could do it that way. So in this car, we had no caster adjustment. So in order to change the caster, I need to move the whole subframe forward, and that is going to move the wheels forward in the wheel arch, okay? So it might, you know, when you look down the side of the car, it might be a little more forward than other. But I slotted it as much as I possibly could. I then added this box right here was already there, and I added this little tab. So now I'm going to measure the caster with my little gauge. Where did it run off to? This is just a regular camber gauge, okay? So like if I stick it to something here, in theory, this should read 0, the little bubble. Look at that. Assuming my lift is perfectly straight or whatever. We'll just 0 this baby. Close enough. Really, I'm just looking for the delta, the change. So I want to put this, okay, on the strut tube. Let's just say zeroed out where we're at. It's right at 3.5-ish degrees of caster, which is not a lot. I think on my first gen I have like 7, which is pretty aggressive. So with the slotted subframe, I can slide the subframe forward. And as I slide the subframe forward, I should be able to see how much I increased my caster. Okay, so going that, you saw how much that moved, okay? And it's not bolted completely in, but that's okay. We're just seeing how much we can get out of it. With that moved all the way up, now I'm at just over 5 degrees of caster. So that 1/2 inch of movement of the subframe, moving the control arm forward, gave me an extra 2 degrees of caster. Now that's not going to affect the toe, that shouldn't affect the camber, it shouldn't affect any of that stuff. We're just changing the caster simply by moving this forward. We're just going to stick with, I'm going to move it that 1/2 inch forward. I just decided that right exactly at this moment. So I'm going to slide it that 1/2 inch forward. Now this little plate, this ear that I put down here, the reason this ear is here is because if I slotted that and just slid the subframe forward, tighten the bolts down, you go drive it, as you run into bumps, it's going to want to push the subframe backwards, right? You're hitting things going forward. We're not all driving around in reverse. So those ears, I'm going to weld them to the subframe, and they're going to bolt into the frame right here, that idler mount, that steering box mount, or that idler arm mount, and that'll prevent the subframe from sliding backwards. Now, if we want to change the caster in the future, you'll have to get in there and, you know, cut the welds off or slot the holes on that or cut it off or do whatever. But at least that locks us in where we're at right now. Comment below. Good remedy? Should we have just mounted it in the right spot in the first place? Probably, but centering the wheels up and just rolling with what you got. The car's been together for like 10 or 12 years, and sometimes you just shot in the dark it and they missed by just a smidge. This was like a 7 out of 10 on the target, and we're trying to get this to like at least a 9. With my math and calculations complete, the subframe can come back out because I really don't want to weld near this beautiful Isle of the Man green paint job on the frame rails. It's kind of weird to have a car that's this nice at the bottom of the car. You know, you can't just like, we'll touch that up with some black spray paint as I'm, you know, touching up the subframe with black spray paint. But ultimately, you want to keep things really clean. So we're making this a roller right now so we can get started on the rest of the body work, shoving the engine in this thing as well, just so I don't have to trip over it. We can mask the front of this off and it won't get that dirty. But there's a few other issues like the wiring that we need to address. And fortunately for me, I have a junkyard of good RX7 parts. So let's go dig some parts out. Mr. Advertisement here with a brief interruption for a shameless plug. If you are building your own rotary engine, get one of my rotary engine organizer trays. You can put all your parts in here. Go check out radpotentialracing.com. You can get a spark plug holder for your glove box because, you know, rotaries like to foul spark plugs. Same thing when you're assembling your engine, rotor rebuild stands. And most importantly, Mr. Advertisement has a question for you. This is a turbo manifold that I built to put an RX7 engine into an RX8. Would y'all be interested in turbo manifolds with a 3-inch exhaust for the first generation RX7? Whether it's a 12A or a 13B, I think I could probably make both of those happen. Drop it in the comments below, or just go check out the RX8 stuff. But Mr. Advertisement now, thank you for your patience. Right back to your awesome video. This is my original RX7, and I bought this car over 10 years ago. I believe the year would have been 2014. I paid $1,500 for this car. It ran and drove, had a little 12A in it, and let me tell you, it was the best learning experience ever because this thing was chock full of putty, Bondo, you name it. It looked good, but I didn't know. And right now, it gets to pay us back. So, it's crazy that from this angle, it doesn't look like that bad of a car. Okay, well, let me show you. I've done this before on multiple videos. Look at this. Full of putty. The rockers are shot. The whole deal. Y'all know that's why I built my red first gen. I'll put a picture of it on the screen. It's super beautiful. And we're trying to recreate my red first gen, but honestly, a different color, Isle of the Man green, with this one, which is up here on the left. Peak the engine and stuff that's in there, which you'll see go in this video. But I need some parts. One of the worst parts about restoring old cars is that it usually takes 2 or 3 cars to make one good one. And that's where I'm at with this. This car, I've kept it around because it has a lot of good parts left on it and left in it. I'm gonna lose some of my indoor storage because I'm taking things off this car. The parts I need, I want to pull the glass out of it while I have the glass guy come in here. Look at this, the original for Paul sticker, Phalanx Performance. That was Middle Tennessee Rotary Club. And I really need a good windshield, but most importantly, no snakes or anything. Sweet. Oh, there's not a hood prop on this deal. That's inconvenient. Will windshield wipers double as a hood prop? No, they won't. I found a hood prop. I need the entire wiring harness out of this for the white-green Shiba car, okay? This is a 1980. That was a 79. And if you remember, it had a hacked-up harness in it. This car has a unmodified, super crispy 1980 harness, okay? And I need to strip it all out. We're going to simplify it and then put it in that car. In addition, that brake booster is a little rough, but I want to switch the brake booster and master cylinder from this car into that car, because that car has turbo 2 brakes. It's got a bunch of stuff going on, and I think the master cylinder that is on it is shot fried. Something is wrong with it. We could never get it to bleed out correctly, but yet on my 79, the RX7, I have a 1980 brake master on it, and it works flawless. So I'm hoping I can just swap that out, at least the booster, and maybe keep the master cylinder. I don't particularly know yet. We'll cross that bridge when we get there. But the front end of this car has got to come off and come apart. It's kind of weird seeing this thing. The dog's probably mildly recognizing it. I don't know. But I've had so much fun in this car. Like, the whole entire rad everything is because of this car. It's wild to kind of just see it. Chuckles sent me a Snapchat memory or Facebook memory or something the other day, and it was me doing a massive burnout in this car, like full smoke out the streetlights burnout in this thing. And it was a ripper, man. It had a full Bridgeport 12A in it for a while. The street port I did not treat kindly, but it still ripped. It was just a good car. And then coming up on wanting to restore it, well, the cancer got this one, and I bought the RX7 from Charles. So that one got restored, and then now we're doing this one. It's kind of coming full circle, but I'm going to try my best. We're going to rip all this stuff out of here. I'm going to hopefully cut this windshield out without breaking it. This is one of the best windshields I have for the sole reason. Notice this bronze tint up here. Okay, so Johnny and Mel, y'all are lucky. I know you watch the videos. I am sacrificing my best windshield for your car. I want to get it out, and I'd love for this car to have the uber rare bronze tint. A lot of them don't have that. Heck, I don't even have that in the RX7. So y'all are getting a good one. Hopefully I can get it out without it cracking. I got a bunch of stuff to get out of the way first. We'll see. I'll put the cracked windshield in here and duct tape it in, and that should seal up most of this. But it's going to be a gold mine of stuff. Look at this. Mint condition SA taillights. Got to find a safe place to put those. Look at this. Another mint condition SA taillight. There should be a full set of SA trim in here too. Mint SA turn signal lenses. All of this stuff is not for sale, by the way. It is going on my car when I wreck it. If I wreck it, do not even ask. I forget what's in here. Buddy, what do you think? Is there a lot of good smells in this machine? Look at this. Red kick panels probably came out of the 99 car. Only a true OG will remember the 99 car. Mouse dust. Black OG original wrapped interior quarter panels. That looks like kind of chewed up, but defrost hatch plastic. More black semi-mint interior quarter panels. Look out, Letty. That is a red dash piece that would go right here. No one will ever guess what this part is from, because this is from the inside of my Duramax and I did not put it back on. It can just go in the trash. Oh, we got all sorts of good stuff in here. So I'm going to start taking this apart. Everything that's good I will show you guys, because it's fun to see all the old parts, you know? I spent a lot of time in the seats of this car. It's a lot of time. Lots of college, lots of fun. It was a good time. It's crazy to think that the last time I really worked on this car, like, in depth, would have been in college. I had a heater core rupture, and I did everything you're seeing me do right now. Take the carpet out, take the dash out, do everything to fix a heater core. And that was circa 2015-ish, so 11 years ago, which is just crazy as I edit this video to realize that that's how long it's been since I've been in here. But I knew enough back then to not chop up my harness when I put my radio and subwoofers and all that stuff in here. And ultimately, this has been a great trip down memory lane for both cars. This is my silver RX-7 next to the white one. This is the silver RX-7 in the same driveway that white one got restored. And this is me daily driving my silver RX-7 to construction sites. And ultimately, like, these RX-7s, you know, as I put this together, like, the cars brought together all of, if not most of, some of my best friends that I have. You know, like, I went to a car show with my silver RX-7. I met Johnny and Melinda and Charles, who had this RX7, an FD, and a rotary truck, and it was like stepbrothers. It's like, do you like dinosaurs, Velociraptor, whatever it was? Instant best friends, and we've hung out ever since. And ultimately, now I get to rebuild their car for him. So, at this point, I have all the wiring simplified, pulled out the headlight retractor wiring, etc., reintegrated the Haltech E6K, and then added wiring for an IGN-1A coil. But the body shop calls. Let's go, Letty. Let's go paint this thing. Jump up. So I grabbed my trusty sidekick and we headed down to the body shop to strip this car. This is probably the worst kind of work in automotive. Taking a paint job off of a car mechanically. So using sandpaper and taking this thing down to bare metal. Now some people would cheat and just paint over what's there. However, that doesn't sit well with us because we don't want to paint over crappy bodywork and ultimately have the customer, or in this case my really good friend, complain that their paint's coming off because we didn't do our due diligence. So we stripped the car down to bare metal, fixed the actual metal, did some small skim bodywork putty repair here and there, which is very common these days. Ultimately this car is decently straight, but it had been hit in the driver's side pretty hard. So we fixed all of that. Sealer, primer, some thick primer, getting all this laid down. So the primer's the gray, the sealer is the black that is already down on the car. Once the primer is sprayed, we're not even close to done yet. We have tons of effort in now resanding and blocking the primer so that we can have a super slick, crispy paint job. All right, Chuggles, what are we doing?
Well, you see, when you have rusty hoods for early cars and you need not rusty hoods off late cars, you got to make them work. So we're putting the hood prop rod on the wrong side, even though it's the right side, so that the hood prop's in the right spot.
Exactly. So this hood is from a 1984-85, and if you're a super nerd, you'll know the difference, and I'm going to point it out to you so everyone watching this video will actually know. An 84-85 or even just an 81 to 85 car has the hood prop, the actual rod, is on the chassis, and it would be on the American driver's side, so the left side of the car. And on a 1979, which is what we have, the hood prop itself. Oh, you already welded that on it.
No, it's just like stuck there.
Okay. This piece is the base of the hood prop, and it actually is on the hood itself. Poor design. When you open the hood and you try to take your hood prop rod down, it'll fall and it'll scratch the top of your fender. But we're super nerds and we like to have the right stuff. So we cut the bracket off the old hood. We're going to put it on this one. If you're a real nerd, you'll notice that, you know, the shape of the hood around where the hood prop like goes on the hood is a little different, but
It's close.
it's fine.
It's close.
Only we and everyone who watches this video will know that it's the wrong year hood on the wrong car, but that's okay. It's what we have, and that's what we're going to use, and this is the best way to fix it. I could probably go hunt down the right hood, but then our timeline for painting the car is completely messed up. So that's what we're doing, I believe. That one's a late model hood too. Late model hood, because I sandblasted the hood and ruined it. I sandblasted the hood and ruined it because it put too much heat in it and we warped it. So that's what that other one is, which is real unfortunate. But we learned. So
We did for this car, for this timeline.
Yes.
It is a very much so fixable hood.
yeah, I believe it goes somewhere in there.
Yeah. I was looking on that one, trying
Okay.
to like...
Just
It
as
looks like
long
it
as
goes
the
nice.
hood prop is long enough to reach that plastic clip. So we got to make sure that this will actually snap in. Here, let me show you. On the old hood, it's right here. Here to here. So basically at the edge of that corner. Yep. Okay.
Oh, yeah, we're good.
Sweet.
As long as it's in that general vicinity.
Yep, because it's going to reach where the clip goes. Lucky that's on there too. Cutting a square hole would be a pain in the butt. 6,702 hours later. We have been here all night. The sun's currently coming up, but we're getting this thing painted today. So we're going to head home here in a bit. Calvin's blocking the last fender. It's still nighttime out. That's a big win. We got the car prepped and in the booth, and I've got everything wiped down about 16 times, making sure that everything's clean. Here y'all can check it out. It's not finish masked, so we'll put plastic over this, I would say in the morning, but in a few hours we'll get some sleep, come back, do that, and then everything will be covered. So it's back taped if you've never done body work before. Basically these lines are where the plastic is going to stay or get taped to. So for example, this spot is sticky. The plastic will sit on there, we'll razor blade the excess off. Still needs wiped down again for sure. Full wax and grease remover wipe down on the car, everywhere we're going to paint. The doors, same way. The plastic will go over it, it sticks to it, you trim the edge, stays in the center. It's one of those like legendary body shop tips that you learn when you're not a body guy. You know, a lot of the stuff in this video, most of you guys probably aren't body shop people. Like you would need your car painted and you would take it to someplace to get painted. We do it. Calvin's the guy that does that, so it's rather enlightening to see how everything works. But we're super privileged to have access to the body shop here on a weekend to be able to knock this out. So we're like just going all in to make sure we finish this thing. We take very good care of everything. We clean everything, clean the body shop floor, we clean the paint booths out, we clean everywhere where we work on our car here, just so that we leave it a better place than we found it. We're still just super appreciative to not have to like do this in the middle of my shop where there's other cars. You'd get overspray and body dust on everything. So pumped, but we're gonna be back and we're gonna see this thing in color, and I am fired up. Team no sleep. It's so hard to drive home at 7 a.m. and watch the sunrise and then go to bed for a little while, but then to come back to the body shop to start laying down color. You gotta be in a good mindset to spray because it is a physically involved thing. So happy Calvin was stoked. I got some 80s disco turned on, which is the perfect jams for a 1979 RX7, especially getting painted green. And Calvin got to work laying down some Isle of the Man green. So we like to paint everything at the same time. It just ensures that the metallic lays out the same, your pressures, your distances, you know, and as a painter, the person doing it, the eye of painting stays the same. You know, you sleep, you come back, you might spray it a little different. So we want everything to be as perfect and as matching as possible. So we did get a good day's worth of rest in, came back later that evening and got this thing sprayed down, laying the clear out right here. Man, it's just, even watching the video, editing it back, it's such a fulfilling work to be able to see the transformation of this car. You know, you put hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of hours into getting to this point where everything has to be right. It has to. And to see it all finished, just look at this. Look at this color. It's so pretty. Fresh out of the booth. Man, it's taking me back because obviously I'm narrating this from the future. The phone, it looks way more blue than it is in real life. It's way more green than it shows on camera. Something about the ambiance of a bake cycle. I can feel the 140 degree air inside the booth right now, sitting at my computer. But I'm stoked. This thing came out so nicely, and at this point it just, you can tell, this is a slick paint job. So getting this thing back to the shop, I've got insulation to put in the floor. Now, you can tell this is not a complete color change. It is impossible to unred a red car, like without acid dipping it and doing the whole deal. So yes, the floor is still red. We've painted to the jams. We've painted every single thing that you can see, and we're ready for the final assembly effectively. So front carpet in, tail lights in, rotary engine badges. It's coming together. Up to this point, we've never seen this car really in any light but the paint booth or in my shop. So I've been making some progress on it. And part of having a small shop like this where I can only fit a few cars in here, and I only have one lift, is that things move around a lot, which is definitely not the most efficient way to fix cars. But right now, whoo, it's gonna be the first time I get to see this in the sun because I need the lift, and this needs to not be on the lift. I have everything under the car done, fuel lines, exhaust, it's all fabbed up. Gosh, dang. So this whole entire process, I wouldn't say that I have been the most stoked for this color. Like, we do great paint work. The paint is, holy cow, it's beautiful. But just green. Green's really not my thing. But this looks good. Gosh. Man, it's hard to document the color. I swear the camera makes this thing look so much more blue. It's way more green in person. Dang. But I've been growing. This color's been growing on me. You know, I like red. I like bright colors. Make it flashy. Red, yellow. I mean, my RX7's like Nordic green, but it might as well be black. It's like cool black, if that makes sense. But dang, this looks good. Dang. And it's hard too. The powder coated intake manifolds are super sparkly silver. It's going to be a little bit of some contrast. I don't know if y'all can tell between like the sparkly silver here and the intercooler pipes, which, you know, mismatched couplers for another day, but the intercooler pipes aren't powder coated to match the intake. I find it, I don't know. Y'all comment below. Would you powder coat your intercooler pipes, or do you leave your intercooler pipes raw aluminum? Because I'm torn on the green RX7 if I should powder coat the intercooler pipes or not, or just leave them aluminum to like the contrast. In here, it doesn't really stand out that much, but intercooler pipes are one of those things where like every time you work on your car, you got to take the intercooler pipes off. And if you take the intercooler pipes off, you're probably going to scratch them. If they're raw aluminum like this, then you can just polish them, scuff them, do whatever you need to do. If I powder coat them silver, now I have to be so careful of every single tool mark. And just like the sun right now is kind of annoying. But seeing this thing in the sun, guys, this is literally incredible. It looks so good. Like I said, it's just hard to photograph this color because it's like, it's green, but it probably looks teal. And this is one of those things where like, maybe, I don't know if you can see these two colors together. It's not really, it's wintertime here and I'm enjoying this 60-degree day. But like, that's more blue, that's green. So like, if you look at this color, notice, not in the sun, but definitely more blue. And then you look at this color, still looks blue on camera, but more green in person. Dang, it looks nice. Ready for more panels. Next up on the build is, we're T-minus, I don't know, I say T-minus, T-plus, probably 4, 5, 6 days after paint right now. So the car's only been out of the booth for less than a week. Chuckles had some drippiness in the paint job, a couple runs. He wanted to sand out of the door and the fender, which is around, you know, when you're spraying and you go around like the marker light hole, you know, something like this, and you got to make sure you get that, or around like a door handle, you can pretty easily kind of get away, let the clear get away from you, and that's what happens. So he fixed all of that, buffed everything, and is bringing those panels out. So that's where we're going to pick up with this car. I've got the carpet in it, insulation in the back, exhaust is built. I guess you can check this out. Look at that nice little turn down tip. Still needs welded, and I want to put the rear bumper on before I put the tip on it. But full stainless exhaust under the car. It's 2.5 inch because the downpipe's 2.5 inch. And then right before the axle, the over the axle portion is 3 inch, because if you were ever going to upgrade to a bigger downpipe later, it would be easier to just remake the mid pipe and the downpipe should we go to a bigger turbo. But the hardest part to rebuild is going to be this over the axle section. So I just went ahead and made that out of 3 inch tubing. That way you never have to change that part. The muffler's 3 inch. So if you upgrade, it's simple. But dang, looks nice. It looks nice. It's probably my favorite thing about being where I am with my shop. I'm out here in the middle of nowhere. Everyone expects there to just be like tractors. And when people, you know, my grandpa's buddies, right? Like the generation that's around out here is the older generation. And when they see all my cars out, like the nice ones, it's just funny when sometimes they drop by, stop in, check things out, and they're like, holy cow. It's wild to see what comes out of this garage versus, you know, your typical International Harvester tractor restoration or John Deere, whichever color you so fancy. We're International Harvester people, but let's get to hanging these panels and making this thing look like a complete car. Honestly, more important than the paint job to me is how the panels fit together. So we got the door hung. My camera died and I don't have footage of the fenders going on, but getting the gaps correct on your doors, fenders, headlights, hood is just one of the most critical points. And a lot of these import cars with plastic parts, especially RX7s, just don't fit very well. So every piece of trim got some fresh trim black, and then this car got brand new rubber seals all the way around. Window felts, window guides, door seals, everything is brand new, and that just brings the car up to such a higher level than working around old janky plastic. And just like that, I've got glass in this thing now, or at least the side and the door seals, and it's the most satisfying parts of building a car is like the final assembly, and we're, far from done, but at least at this point, we're seeing things go back on the car. The thing that is gnarly, check this out. Boom! It's like having a nuclear bomb strapped to your door latch whenever you put brand new door seals on a car, especially brand new ones, in order to get the door to shut correctly and all that, which I've got it adjusted pretty nice. I'm excited to see what Chuckles thinks of my adjustment, but you do have to, even my red car now, you got to earn that door close, mainly because of the seals. It's not an adjustment issue. They're just brand new door seals. So, door seals, trim, the glass isn't perfect. You can probably see there's like some lines in it where it definitely ran up and down with old crappy plastic door seals, basically, too many times, but it is OEM Mazda glass, and Chuckles should be here shortly because we're going to glue the OEM Mazda bronze tint windshield in the car today, as well as glue the quarter glass in the car. So these, most of the time when people restore these cars, they'll never cut this quarter glass out, and then you're left with this really crusty seal. Even mine, this is the first car that I've done where we've cut this glass out. My RX7, it's beautiful, but if you look close around the quarter glass, like, we did what we could without taking them out. So I'm stripping, as you can see here, I'm stripping literally 1980s purple window tint off of this, which is terrible, but hey, we're doing it. And then this side, this windshield came out of the mouse, my old 1980 RX7, so it lives on. Parts of the mouse are in just about every single car I've restored, unfortunately, but that one, it's too far gone to be restored. So, Chuckles will be here shortly. We're going to get this front glass cleaned up. I just love, look at this. You can't even tell that there's a glass window here. When you really get in there and, clean up and polish windshields, glass, the whole deal, you name it, man, they just look so good when you think your windows are down, but they're actually completely up. And unfortunately, I think this one, I don't think the rear hatch glass is in the best. I don't think the rear hatch glass is in bad shape, but I do need to dig that out and refresh it. And ultimately, too, the scope of my work, as you've seen to this part, might seem like an entire automotive restoration. However, the original engine, which is a turbo 2 block, I didn't rebuild it. We're not touching it. It's going back in. The engine harness, the tune, the turbo, all of that stuff's going back on the car. The goal is to provide my good friends with a chassis that's worth modifying and, playing with. It's hard to put money into something that doesn't look good. Having a nice paint job makes it so much easier to justify, at least car guy math, right? To justify, all right, sweet, now let's put a big turbo on this thing. Now let's put a nice wiring harness in it. Now let's retune it. If you're doing all that to a really crappy looking car, and this one wasn't patinaed. Okay, y'all saw it. It wasn't patina. It was rusty. It had been painted white over red, and it really needed it needed fixed. It was in disrepair. So we have since repaired it, and I can't wait. Just wait. I got the license plate lights painted. They're sick. All this stuff is done with SEM trim black. It's a super professional, this is what the pros use to do this stuff. Super nice. And I can't wait. It's just, the finishing touches are so nice. So I'm going to get all this. There's lots more work to do, and I'm just going to keep at it. Wouldn't be a rad build without some full function engineering, at least a full function engineering secondary fuel rail stuck on there, and a little bit about this engine too. This is an unopened Series 5 Turbo 2 engine, I believe. It's just a stock turbo, nothing crazy. Haltech E6K, wastegate pressure. It makes like 200 horsepower, and it's super fun to drive. Like, it goes whoosh, and you have a sweet HKS super sequential blow-off valve. Like, it's the epitome of 90s JDM parts. But glass going in. The coolest part about this deal is I was able to piece together all OEM Mazda glass for this car. So when you look at it, the nerd in me, every piece of glass has the Mazda logo etched into it, no aftermarket glass, which is just, you always do the next car better. And my RX7, even the red one, doesn't have all OEM glass. So it's got some aftermarket, door glass and stuff, but this one's OEM. Now we're going to need to do some polishing on this, and you can see this bronze tinted windshield, which is a really rare piece. Probably, I'm just stoked we didn't drop it. It's pretty high value here. You can't really find these. The glass is a little hazy, and we'll polish it out, but that's an easy fix. And the trim going on, being brand new, really makes these cars pop. When you have fresh black door and window trim, man, it looks so good. A lot went down, but I'm ready to see if this thing is going to start. So I've got oil in it. I went through and made a little harness for the gauge cluster, so it's all nice as it falls down heroically. Right here, it all plugs in. One harness. Works flawlessly. And check this out. Just stay right there. Check this out. They even change colors when you turn the lights on, and the lights work. So, in theory, everything should be ready to go. If you remember, when we tore this car apart, there was a huge wiring mess under the dash, which we have now fixed. It's organized, clean. You can use a service manual to deal with this. You don't have to deal with in continuity just checking wires because the wire changes color. So we're dialed. Everything should work. The major change we did do is we did put IGN 1A coils on this car to convert. Oh, my multimeter. We were talking about it. It turned off now. To convert from the FC style coils to a smart coil. So now the only thing that's not going to be happy is the tachometer is not going to work, because there's no way for an Haltech E6K old school to output a DPO to this old school tach. You have to use a converter. You have to do all sorts of stuff. I don't want to mess with that, so we're just going to try it right now. In theory, it's got fuel in it. Lights work. Power's on. Ignition coils should be on. The fuel pump works. You can hear it prime. Boom diggity. I got some fuel in it. Heck, even the fuel gauge is working. So in theory, right now, if I get my foot to the gas pedal, the throttle, it should start. Now I probably should crank this and prime the oil system and do all of that. However, this is not a brand new engine, so it has the thing ran when I drove it in here a few months ago. Not that worried about it. People let their cars sit for longer than that and just fire up. I being one of those people. So in theory, oil pressure should come on. It doesn't have water in it, and the O2 sensor's hooked up. Oh, these cars are too easy. This thing sounds nice. Oh, stay running. Come on. Stay running for me. Oh, man. All right. Well, okay. I'm not going to say that I did not have all the confidence in the world that my work was going to yield this car just firing right up instantly. I swear that's the first time I've turned that over with the key. Obviously, haven't looked under it. We have an oil leak. No oil. I already checked for fuel leaks. Oh, cars are too easy, guys. Okay. We changed the wiring. A whole new harness. I checked and rechecked everything. We got it all wired up flawless. Kudos to me. It fired right up. So I've got a little bit more work to do, but I'm going to clean up my wiring mess, get the dash put back together, get coolant in this thing, some premix because I blocked the oil metering pump off now, and Should be able to drive this thing out of here. Not quite done with this thing yet, but it is supposed to rain this afternoon. I have just got to see this thing in the sun as a complete car with the hood on it. Chuckles came out, got the hood put on. Man. Shoo! It's a nice bright sunny day. There is some dust on this thing that I need to kind of dust off really quick. So y'all just gonna have to wait about 14.275 seconds. Not really, probably not even that long. Mainly just this one spot, gosh dang, on the hood. Let me just sandblast my car really quick. My car, the car I built by smearing dust all over fresh paint. Okay. It's a first gen RX7. It starts every time. Just kidding. Only RX8s do that. And I have a steering wheel. It's got all fluids. Nice firm brake pedal. Clutch is bled. If you listen closely when I put the steering wheel on, maybe the horn's gonna go off. You never know. This car's a little custom. Got a clutch pedal that works. Look at this. We got a door that closes. All right, it's first gen, starts every time. Clutch in. We got gears. Oh, spring's got to settle, you know. I got brakes. Oh, we got the best brakes this car's ever had in its life. Handbrake's even tight. Who did a good job? Alright guys, it's a big reveal. First time I've seen it in the sun too. Oh dang. It's green. Look at that thing. This is probably the craziest paint ever. I really wanted this car to be bright. Not my car, but just first gens, and they just look better in bright colors. Like bright yellow, bright red, bright all that thing. It's an opinion. Everyone's got an opinion. This green looks good, but the camera does it perfect. I mean, it is full on sunlight today. Full sun. And the car is not bright green. It's like dark Batman spec green. And the camera does it a great justice. My camera, I've noticed, sorry about the wind, has always been a little more blue than green, but at the same time, like, it's definitely a green car, not a blue car. I don't know. Gosh, this color changey, weird color changey stuff's all funky to me. Like my first gen, I'm gonna pull it out here in a second and park it next to this because I'm gonna drive to dinner tonight. It's like, mine's like red. It's like in your face, bright red. Like if the sun's going down, it's still bright red, you know? But this is like, it on camera, it looks black. It literally looks black on camera. If I change the ISO, does it brighten up? No. Man. It's just, I don't know, it's weird. It's a weird color. I'm stoked. I know they're gonna love it. It's beautiful. It looks great. I need to wash it. The wheels are dirty, the tires are dirty. But stance, proper. Stance is proper. Everything looking super nice. It's still like, it doesn't have a wing and a front air dam, so it's not full masculine effect first gen. It's still pretty hairdresser spec first gen, you know? But hey, it's running, it's idling, no vacuum leaks. I got all the lower valance on down here. I need to find a marker light housing because that marker light housing was destroyed, but I got the other one on. So that's a win. This car has always had the air filter and oil cooler stick out at the bottom. It's just not a change that I was gonna make during this overhaul. Change that later if they want. and I lost the clips for the front trim. So not that that matters, but somewhere in this shop are all new 3D printed clips for the first gen front windshield trim. And I lost them. I have no idea where they're at. Not that I have too many things going on, but this thing's about done, so I'll find them tomorrow, because I'm taking this back to Johnny Mel tomorrow, so I'm sure they'll turn up, but they're somewhere in here. That LS engine probably ate them over there, or the 4GT probably swallowed them up. So at this point, the car is basically done. You know, the last 10% takes 90% of the time, and I'm still gonna team no sleep this thing tonight, as you're gonna see. But it's all together. The scope of make the car look beautiful has been completed, and it's time to take this thing to Nashville Cars and Coffee in Tennessee. One of the best car events you can go to that's just free, good vibes, totally worth it. I didn't do any videoing there because, well, I was operating on 3 hours of sleep, and I was just stoked to get the car back home where it belongs. So we've arrived at Johnny and Melinda's house down here in Tennessee. We had a little Rotary gathering, and you can tell this green RX7 feels right at home with all of us. This is one of those where this car is responsible for so many of these people, and so many of the people here had a hand in restoring this car the first time, that it only feels so right to be able to do it the justice of having it look as nice as it can in its final form, at least for now. All right, guys, we've got the car. This is Melinda's car. It's all done. This morning, I was up till 2 in the morning, and then I slept for 3 hours, loaded the car up, and drove down to Nashville to give it to him at Cars and Coffee this morning. So didn't film anything. I've been a little exhausted, but we've been resting up for the day, and just here to kind of give Melinda's delayed-ish reaction, but show you guys, you know, ultimately where this is culminated in. Just get your thoughts on that.
Yeah,
so,
I'm excited. It was really cool to see it. Got to see it at Cars and Coffee this morning. We didn't unload it from the trailer just because it was kind of like chaos there.
Yeah.
But we walked over, we had a little group field trip. We got to go see the car. Everybody was happy with it. I'm happy with it. You know, I've had this car since 2010.
Yeah.
And we painted it white in 2011. Initially a red car, so she's had a lot of phases. It's fine. And it was a lot of fun to drive. Dad and I, you know, built this thing back in 2010. It's been super fun, and the white was fun. It was a fun phase, and then it just needed some love after a while. So I literally could not be happier with how it's turned out.
That's good.
Even from right here, just looking at even the underside of the hood, like it's so pretty.
It's I was joking, you know, we've kind of got this running bet with one of our buddies who's gonna watch this video on who has the cleanest bottom of their car.
So currently I win.
Yeah.
Currently, right now I'm winning.
This is brand new. It's ready to go.
I'm winning. He's meticulous in the cleaning of his car. So I'll have to do some work. I'll be under the car. If you see me at Deals Gap under the car, you'll know why, because I don't like to lose a bet.
Yeah. It'll be easy to clean because everything's perfect.
But yeah, it's beautiful. So that was actually, it was kind of cool to see it for the first time up on the trailer, because I could see under it very easily.
Yeah.
Because it was, you know, just a little lean, and we could see under the car and just everything, and the fenders and everything. It's just, Calvin did such a great job. I'm so happy with it, happy with the color, happy with how it turned out. Yeah. Kind of like have seen this color before on obviously a different shape and style of car, and just hoped, with fingers crossed, at the vision that it would look good on a first gen. They came in green, but a different green, and so I was just like, you know what? Green's kind of a bold choice, but if it works in some capacity, hopefully, here's hoping it works. And I truly could not be happier. I'm
That's good.
Super excited.
I was like, usually I've got a real good vision for cars. Like I can see it, I know what it's gonna look like. I'm like stoked it's gonna look good.
Yeah.
And this one has always been that like. And I'll just be straight up. I'm just like, man, this green, I know it's a real pretty color. I was so worried that it wouldn't meet your expectations. Because it's like, it's a different color.
It's
like
bold.
This is not something you see. Is it going to look right? You know, because it's not also like, seeing it all painted, it's not quite as vibrant as I thought it was going to be in the sun.
It does look different in pictures versus in person, but I'm super happy, and like that's what I told you. Like we talked about this, we had multiple conversations. I love the pearl white, I love a pearl, I love a metallic. And I was like, you know what, Eric, if we're going to do this, we're going to do it big. I want it to be bright, I want it to be flashy, I want a bright color. And I know we had some skepticism about the color, but I'm happy.
I mean, y'all chose it. I'm not changing it, so it is what it is.
I'm really happy.
The thing that's just crazy is like in here,
Yeah, we
when
got some
the
fun
light's
lighting.
shining on it, it's a lot. This hue right here, Mel can't see the camera, but like how it's bright green right here to then dark over there, and my camera makes it look more blue.
Yes.
But like the color shift in the sun isn't like bright to brighter. It's like wherever the sun in your eyes are seeing is bright, but then it kind of has this like this glow.
It's got a metallic,
down,
like more of a
yeah,
metallic
it turns
shift than like a
down.
color shift. So yeah, that's what was
That's
crazy
interesting.
is like, you know, we've been exchanging photos and things over the last like month or whatever.
Yeah.
And you've sent some pictures.
Of
And
an
then
iPhone, and then my
just
phone,
2
'cause it's
days
two-
ago,
yeah,
just 2
it's a
days
whole
ago, you
different
sent
color.
a picture of iPhone versus your phone. I was like, man, that's crazy. Like,
Yeah.
it's a big difference. And so it was really cool. Like, I just have been so excited to see it in person. Everything is just so cleaned up. Like that, not even the paint, just,
Like, what's your favorite part about it?
I mean,
So I
So-
did new fasteners everywhere.
honestly, just like how
new
clean the engine bay looks. Because
Powder
again,
coated
like,
this.
car was
You know.
truly just kind of thrown together. What, 15 years ago, 16 years
Yeah.
ago? So, I mean, you know, I was working on a budget. I was living a whole different life 16 years ago.
Oh, yeah.
And now, like, to be able to actually invest a little bit of money
Just a
into
little
it and, like, make it look nice, like, everything is actually just a little bit of an upgrade. It's not perfect. We've still got things. I got to get this guy changed out. That looks terrible. I hate it. The color of it. I mean, it's an old
It's original.
plastic. It's an old piece of plastic. So.
They don't know.
So we got to get that fixed out. You know, there's a few things that I want to change, but I'm just really happy. Like, just even under the engine bay looks bright and shiny and not crusty and old like it did before. And hopefully she drives like she's bright and shiny and new and not crusty
Yeah.
and old too. So that's the other piece.
Yeah, there's a couple little things where, like, you know, it's just managing the scope of a project. Like, I always say it's very easy to work on a running car, and then two, like, if you have a car that has good paint and you're like proud of the way it looks, right? And like now we're proud of the way it looks.
Motivation.
Yeah, so
We
now
call
you're
that
like,
motivation.
Yeah, we can make it drive like the way it looks.
Yes.
You know, because this is an old E6K. It's kind of old tech, but
Yeah.
it's what was in there. It's worked for years. We're just going to make it work for now.
Yes.
And you can, now that the paint's done, it's very easy to be
It's-
like, oh, let me
Hey,
put
let's
an nice ECU
let me
bigger
save a
turbo
little
in.
money
Yeah.
to the side to put into here. So yeah, you know, I
So-
got a few things: steering wheel, shift knob.
Yeah,
some of the
some
interior
interior
pieces
stuff.
I definitely want to update at some point. But like this is such a great starting point. And this is
Yeah.
kind of like with Dad's truck. You know, when we got him his truck painted and it was all good and ready to go, like that was a great motivation to get the rest of it done. So
Oh, the trim's all redone.
yeah,
Hinges are painted. Something dripped on it, which is annoying.
So-
and the glass needs clean, but it did get hauled down.
a big improvement for where it was. You know, 10 months ago when she left me stranded on the way home from Dale's Gap last year.
Yeah.
So
And that's the crazy part, guys. It's literally, I started on this. So the video that you've watched, the whole transformation, we started on it in November.
yes.
And it is March,
Well,
the
but the
beginning
car,
of March.
we got the car to you
Yeah,
mid
but I didn't
last
touch it
year,
until
right?
November,
But she's
yeah.
been sitting for a while.
So full, every nut and bolt, besides like the engine and transmission specifically, but every nut and bolt restoration in 5 months by one person. And y'all have seen all the other stuff we have going on. So like, it's pretty
It's been a
gnarly
lot of
to-
work, and
it's a big
I'm very
transformation.
appreciative. I'm very grateful.
Heck yeah. I'm stoked.
Super excited.
I'm
Can't
glad
wait.
you're happy with it.
Can't wait to
Glad you're
get
happy.
to the Gap and be able to show it off and just
It'll be the only green one there. I
yeah,
guarantee it.
she's been many years by many drivers. A lot of friends in our group have driven this car, and like we
I've
kind of
driven it
joke,
to the
it's
Gap,
it's
yeah.
like the friend car.
Yeah.
But I've had FDs and the RX8s that I've driven before, and this will be the time that I'm the most excited to drive this one. So
yeah.
I'm excited to show it off.
Sweet. Cool. Well, thank you guys so much for watching. That's going to be the end of this video. So remember, live life you don't need a vacation from. Keep it rad. And we'll see y'all in the next one.
Johnny would be upset if I did mention like and subscribe.
Yep.
You know, you gotta.
For sure. Yeah, I'm super pumped. It's
I'm so excited.
just to me, the little things.
I think honestly, like
are what I
looking,
like.
like obviously the car is pretty. Looking at the car is cool, but looking at the engine
Just
bay,
like that.
yes, literally these little bolts, all
the
of this,
hardware is new.
it's just clean. All of
Nice
these little pieces.
IGA cool bracket, We'll change
Yeah,
the intercooler.
yeah.
couplers
We
out
got to
to
get
match
these guys
eventually.
fixed up, but
Nice fuel pressure regulator,
just
all
so-
integrated, everything's,
it's just clean. Like it looks so much cleaner, and I know it was a lot of work.
Oh, yeah.
But to
It's
me,
worth
it
it,
is
yeah.
the little details that make a big difference. Like,
hood
yeah,
bumpers.
these guys, like
Yeah.
truly the smallest
Booster
little
hose.
bits.
New master cylinder.
that
Also,
make
the
up-
brakes are really good now.
Okay.
At least they feel good. And I think the
I
master
think,
cylinder
yeah, I
does that
think
issue, so
last
it's
time they
all-
were a little sketched, so
Yeah.
that'll be good.
So drive for a little bit.
I
We can
do
rebleed it if
want
it
to
does
get
feel
me
spongy,
some
but-
windshield wipers because I don't want to redo of last year
With no
driving
wipers?
this thing in the rain on the way to the Gap. That was not my favorite.
We'll
So
polish that glass up. We got a detailed guy.
yeah, we got time. Yeah, I know a guy.
Yeah.
I know a guy.
Peace, guys.